All right, so just for clarification, I don't do much debunk videos, as most niggas do, but like today, when I woke up, someone or superiority, he sent me a Sonic debunk named by a dude named DMO Souls Fiction or something like that, right? And it's probably some of the worst Sonic debunks I've done ever seen in my whole life, right? So we're just gonna take a look at some of the most important parts of the video that I'm gonna debunk, and it's just gonna be the main important parts, not like everything in itself. So here's one clip played by the video. I'll play right now. So here you go.
Sonic scales off of Solaris, who was gonna destroy the entire cosmology. They weren't able to defeat Solaris by matching his raw strength. They specifically targeted his core, because it's the only thing that's even tangible on Solaris. He's stated to be super-dimensional, specifically fourth dimensional, and on another plane.
Now there's multiple things to address here. Is that one, he claims that it's specifically fourth dimensional, which doesn't really make sense because a scan right here legit says that Solaris controls, well, basically it correlates to Solaris controlling the entire external reality. And external reality just basically refers to the material or physical reality, which holds all natural laws such as cause and effect, time and space, and the general laws of physics in itself. In the statement here, it says not only able to control the very essence of what time and space is in itself, but Solus has the very power, or Solus has the power to dominate fate, cause and effect in itself, and possibly death itself. And the alternate translation, which is the better version, it basically says that Solus is able to distort space time and possesses the power to control causality in itself. And more shit over here. I have it right. It even says that Solaris is capable of doing something even more powerful than what it was or how it was shown in the game. So basically, if you were to say that having the power to control cause and effect and all natural laws within the external reality is not above 40, then that's just absolutely retarded. Because controlling space time in itself, with conjunction to dimensionality. So if you were controlling dimensionality, I don't see how you would be 4D specifically. And he even just makes the claim that it's 4D specifically without any justification why it's 4D. So yeah, we're just gonna move on from this point real quick.
Sonic has a measurable speed. This one should be pretty straightforward, but I'll talk about this one and debunk it anyway. We can see that in Sonic Generations, both classic and modern supersonic fight against a being similar, but weaker than Solaris known as the Time Eater. Both of them are visibly affected by its time slowdown. Even then in the Solaris fight, they technically aren't in a timeless void. If they truly were, Eggman and the others would not be able to communicate with the hedgehogs, and yet they still can. I can't find the exact scan, but in Sonic Generations, it stated that Sonic was able to reverse time itself with his speed alone. However, this wouldn't instantly qualify for a measurable speed, as it would just be time manipulation or time travel, since as I explained last time, Sonic is still affected by time.
All right. So just for clarification, he says like all of this stuff, and I'm pretty sure I can easily just say that these are anti-feats, and that kind of already debunks the whole thing. But it's just boring if I just say that. So one thing, first and foremost, the reason they're being affected by time, which is another argument I can give, is probably because Time Eater was legit destroying the Chaos Emeralds, and yeah, here are the scans for it, as I will show here. And not only that, it legit says that the Chaos Emeralds embody the Chaos Force, and the Chaos Force is legit the all binding, basically like force, right, of the entire cosmology. So, and by the way, this is correlating to the physical reality, because again, he says that they are being controlled in this void, well, not void, but like in this place where there's time and space, basically, where physical things, physical objects, physical concepts exist, right? So it's physical, somewhere, right? So they're still somewhere in the external reality, and the chaos elements and the chaos force do bind the cosmology of the main material reality in itself. And You might be like, well, these scans are from Archie, right? But here's also another scan, basically just proving in itself that Archie and Game Sonic, they basically exist in the same exact cosmology, right? So really, I believe that these certain arguments are just enough to debunk this whole point, considering it's just blatantly anti-feats. So I don't really need it to give this, but yeah, we're just gonna move on to the next point where he talks of imaginary world.
Dream worlds for every person in existence. Not really, that's not how it works. Imaginary world is a place where dreams from multiple people coexist. Based on the manual down below, the description implies that imaginary world is just a universe-sized realm made up of different dreams of people across the multiverse. Conclusion or verdict? The cosmology itself scales to low complex multi, or in this case 5 to 6D.
So in this case, I believe he was just being really fucking incoherent about the whole imaginary world shit, about how it's a universe-sized place, and the statement says it's universe-sized. When you can literally legit look back at the statement, it doesn't say anything about it being a universe-sized place. But anyways, yeah. He then makes the conclusion that this only affirms that the imaginary world is certainly just 5 or 6D, which I will debunk pretty easily. So basically, uh, I have a scale, right, within the collective unconsciousness. It basically says that the collective unconsciousness is basically the matrix of all metaphysical theories and statements. A metaphysical, like all metaphysical theories, will correlate to extent of model realism and model realism in itself, considering both EMR and MR and all their models are metaphysical theories in itself. So basically, the scan here, Illumina says that the imaginary world is basically a world where it assembles the dreams of all those other beings, people, and every other dimension. And the place where the precious gem, or the precious gem, is they created this world, and it was basically smashed into pieces, as it says. I don't think the third statement is kind of relevant, to be honest. But yeah, it basically says that the existence supports extra dimensional shit, whatever, and the precious stone basically can create anything within the imaginary world, such as extra dimensional things. And it even states that the imaginary world is stated to be a non actual world, as by the precious gemstone, right? And non actual worlds are basically worlds that are different from basically our own, right? Existential worlds, universal shit, whatever, right? And basically things that can include that both possible worlds and impossible worlds in itself. And these certain possibilities can be understood in multiple ways, such as there's a logical possibility, metaphysical possibility, physical possibility, etc. A world is possible if it doesn't violate the laws corresponding type of possibility, such as the laws of logic in itself, which operates on a system of classical logic. And within these models, a world is logically possible if it obeys the laws of logic, as I already said, but if it does not contain a contradiction, a world is physically possible if it obeys the laws of nature. In this regard, physically possible worlds would have followed the laws of gravity, for example, like because the laws of gravity are the main existential universal laws for the laws of physics and general nomological laws, which are basically what we mean by physically possible worlds. For example, worlds that do not obey these laws are basically impossible worlds, or what you would say physically impossible or nomologically impossible from their differ. But if you were to give in certain logical contradictions, and like they don't obey the laws of logic, such as non-contradiction, excluded middle, identity, etc., they'll be deemed as contradictory worlds or impossible worlds. And these certain different types of impossibilities correspond to the different types of possibility in itself. So a world without gravity is physically impossible. It's basically a physically impossible world, and a world containing contradiction is a logically impossible world. And to furthermore prove this, that was just mainly model realism in itself. But basically, going to EMR in itself, it's kind of the same thing, but it concerns the main question of what it means to be something that is possible or necessary. Something possible in this case within logically possible worlds can just basically mean something that can logically occur, And necessary just basically means being objective or being the truth throughout all logical possible worlds, which basically means that you exist in every other like possible world in itself, like simultaneously. Basically, moral realism, going back to it, it's just basically the view that besides the actual world, like we live in our main universe, there are multiple other universes, possible worlds. This is what we conclude in MWI, such as which is basically like the theory that there could be other parallel universes to us, but this also extends to it and correlates to it. Basically, they exist as alternative versions of the actual world we live in, but it contrasts with actualism, which holds that there is only one world, the actual world, which is what we live in. But external model realism is basically just a special form of model realism in itself. It includes basically the thesis that there are not just possible worlds but also impossible worlds. And a possible world is a world that contains a contradiction, which is basically external model realism. Now, what we can conclude here is that um, if CU exists everywhere, because here's the statement of it. Actually, I think I already gave that statement. Yeah, but if CU exists everywhere, this would conclude that metaphysics exists everywhere, and metaphysics exists in an impossible world, as the scan here legit says that metaphysics transcend correct reasoning and logic itself, which does correlate to the formal system logic in itself. So yeah, this is legit a 5 minute fucking audio recording, damn. But like I said before, imaginary world is not 5D or 6D, and just to say how many times he contradicted himself, because the whole purpose of this video, as I heard before, because I think I've heard about it, he said that it's supposed to make Sonic so-called city level or three-dimensional, which doesn't make sense as he legit contradicts himself the entire time within the video, saying that Sonic can legit affect these certain uh, characters and creatures that are in a higher dimensional form. It doesn't even matter if it's fucking fourth dimensional because he legit concedes he's fourth dimensional when his whole main point is supposed to make Sonic 3D in itself. So yeah, basically that. Yeah, this is the whole debunk for now. And yeah, basically, if this guy, BMO Souls Fiction, wants to come run my fade, and if he asks any of you like if he wants to run my fade, then he can come run my fade if he like wants type shit, right? Because we can debate really, but yeah, this is all it for now. I just wanted to debunk this video because it was so shitty. And yeah, anyways, I hope this fucking video makes y'all Sonic scalers feel better because like being in the Sonic community for 1 year, like I can tell how many fucking Sonic scalers hate Sonic debunks, bro. I can just tell that so much. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess I'll see you next time, whatever the fuck. But yeah, yeah. Also, DMO's come on my fade if you want.